man, they're going to be tough to beat. They got everything you need. I'll be totally shocked if they don't win the championship.
Did you know that the Boston Celtics hold the record for winning the most NBA championships? They've won a total of 17 titles, with their first championship coming in 1957, and it seems we have a bit more to say about them being the best team. They have been crushing it in their regular season like no other team before. To put it in perspective, the last time a team dominated their conference by 10 games was the legendary 2016-17 Golden State Warriors, but the Celtics are here, breaking records and making history. The Boston Celtics are a basketball team from Boston, USA. They play in the NBA as part of the Atlantic Division in the Eastern Conference. The team was formed in 1946 and is one of the original 8 NBA teams. They play their home games at the TD Garden, where the Boston Bruins of the NHL also play. The Celtics are known as one of the best teams in NBA history, having won 17 NBA championships, tying with the LA Lakers. They also hold the record for the most wins in NBA history. The Celtics had an amazing season, one of the best ever. Their net rating was super high, ranking 3rd all-time in the NBA. They finished a whopping 14 games ahead of the Knicks, which hasn't happened in the NBA since 1976. And get this, they've never lost more than 2 games in a row. The season was all about staying steady and having a balanced team. The boss, Brad Stevens, changed things up in the offseason. He made sure there was a go-to guy for scoring. Kristaps Porzingis, an added player who could play both offense and defense. Jrue Holiday, even though Robert Williams III and Marcus Smart were great last season, Porzingis and Holiday really stepped up their game. The Celtics have been really good in the NBA for a while now, but this season they went from being good to being amazing. They were almost unbeatable on most nights, and it's pretty surprising to see how their stats compare to some of the best teams ever. Why are their numbers showing that they're this awesome? We find it really surprising that nobody is talking about this. Everyone just seems to think, oh, the Celtics are decent, but because they haven't won a championship yet and they're not seen as a young, up-and-coming team anymore, people aren't giving enough credit to how amazing their season has been. Sure, the three-point era might have made scoring look better than it actually is, but still, the Celtics are basically scoring as much as the Kevin Durant Warriors did back in 2016-17, when they were unstoppable. And compared to the other teams in the past 20 years, the Celtics are doing even better. Think about it. Back in 2007-8, people were all hyped about the Celtics because they had some new star players, but this Celtics team is actually performing even better. This year's team feels fresh and exciting, like a brand new addition. The Celtics are kind of doing what the Warriors did back when they got Durant, rather than what Boston did with Garnett and Allen. Swapping Williams for Porzingis is short of like when the Warriors replaced Barnes with Durant, but on a smaller scale. Still, it had a similar impact. It allowed Boston to really play to their strengths with Tatum and Brown, while also giving them a solid finisher in Porzingis at the end of each play. Even though the Celtics seems like they could do well in the East, they're not exactly like those Warriors, and here's why. First, Curry and Durant were considered the best players in the NBA back then, along with LeBron James. Plus, the Warriors had already won a championship, while the Celtics did well in the playoffs in 2022 and last year. They haven't actually won the big title yet, and that's what really counts. That's why we're doing this exercise. We want to figure out if their stats show that they should be the top choice for winning the title. So, let's dig into what makes them so good. First, they're really good at scoring points. And second, they're really good at stopping the other team from scoring points. Boston is the best at scoring points and 3rd best at stopping the other team from scoring. Their defense is really important too. With the addition of Jrue Holiday and Derek White, they're super strong at defending against shots from the outside, and with Porzingis, they're even better at protecting the rim. Plus, Tatum, as a superstar, contributes a lot on defense too. The offense is like a secret weapon, especially because of how many great shooters they have. While they may not have someone like Curry, the Celtics still dominate with lots of players who can shoot really well. They're the best in the league at both taking and making three-point shots. The Celtics move the ball around the court, looking for the perfect shot, and usually, someone ends up with an easy shot, which they usually make. Boston has 3 players who are really good at going one-on-one: Tatum, Brown, and Porzingis, but defenses have a tough time figuring out what to do because everyone on the Celtics can shoot well. This means Boston can spread out their players around the three-point line and leave the middle of the court wide open. 7 out of their top 8 players shoot at least 37.5% from three-point range, with only Brown shooting a bit lower at 35.4%. all this year, and we saw what happened when the teams left him open. Plus, they take a lot of shots. Each of them shoots at least 7 times per 100 possessions. Coach Joe Mazzulla really likes when his team takes a lot of 3-point shots. It's been one of his main strategies for offense since he became coach. Scoring in basketball has been going up a lot in recent years, but it reached a high point this season. After the All-Star break, referees tried to slow things down a bit, but Boston's performance got even better. Their net rating went from 10.3 in the 55 games before the break to 14.9 in the 27 games after. This includes a huge win over the Warriors, and also, some teams might not have been trying as hard since the season was almost over. Brown has been scoring more since the break, adding 3.6 points per game to his average. Plus, he's shooting 38.1% from 3-point range, which is much better than earlier in the season when he wasn't shooting as well. Tatum was doing well earlier in the season, so now that Brown has found his groove, Boston's offense is even stronger. It looks like everyone in the starting lineup is working well together, but how does that compare to other teams that are competing for the title? One thing that worries us about Boston as we head into the playoffs is that many of their advantages come from players who won't play as much in the playoffs. The starting lineup for Boston is really good, with a net rating of plus 11 per 100 possessions according to NBA.com. But when you compare it to other teams like Denver, Milwaukee, or Philadelphia, when they have their best players on the court, Boston's starting lineup isn't as strong. The Celtics have a big rivalry with the Lakers, especially in the 1960s and 80s. They've played against each other in the NBA Finals 12 times, with the Celtics winning 9 times. 4 Celtics players, Bob Cousy, Bill Russell, Dave Cowens, and Larry Bird, all of which have won the NBA Most Valuable Player award. In total, Celtics players have won 10 MVP awards, which is more than any other NBA team. The name Celtics and their mascot Lucky the Leprechaun both pay tribute to Boston's big Irish community and the original Celtics, a basketball team from the early 1900s. The Celtics started becoming really successful in the late 1950s when they got Bill Russell, who became the key player for the team. With Russell, Bob Cousy, and Tom Hasen, they won their first NBA championship in '57. When Russell retired as a player and became the coach in '69, he was the first African-American head coach in any U.S. sport. After that, the team had to rebuild. In the mid-1970s, they got back to being top contenders and won championships in 1974 and '76 with coach Tom Hasen, Dave Cowens, John Havlicek, and JoJo White. Then in the 1980s, the Celtics were really strong again. They had a big rivalry with the Showtime Lakers, led by Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, with Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish, known as the Big Three. The Celtics won championships in 1981, '84, and '86 with Casey Jones as the coach. Is Bolton Celtics your favorite? Do let us know in the comment section. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time, see you all!